politics has now become a used car salesman dealership, and they're
Yeah, I
selling
mean,
lemons all over the place.
it was the worst thing I think has ever been posted on the official White House Instagram. You're making a joke out of disenfranchising millions of Americans. So to hell with the working class, to hell with those in poverty, to hell with the middle class, to hell with even those who are like upper middle class. So it's America first, America only, and then America fallen, because we need our allies.
This is an Unsolicited Perspectives YouTube exclusive.
Jay, one of our very, very loyal listeners sent me something that I was like, this isn't real. And this person that's a loyal listener is a social media manager. So she manages social media for different companies. So this is what she does for a living. And she sent me a link to an official White House post on Instagram. The caption reads, "Flat paycheck, flat broke, bump it up with President Trump's one big beautiful bill." And basically it's a commercial for the big beautiful bill that we can say now has passed and will be implemented as we are filming this on the 4th of July, which is interesting that we would be filming this and talking about this on the 4th of July. But in this essential ad commercial Instagram post is a bunch of women that are getting their hair done, that are getting their hair blown out to be big, kind of almost like the 60s.
It's a little tool. Women will know this. It's called a bump it. It looks like a little hairband, and you put your hair over it, and it makes a little bump. It was very popular with the ladies of the Jersey Shore back in the early 2000s, and nobody in their right mind will wear one today, but that's how it is. Yes.
So this was on the official White House Instagram page. And I was like, okay, first of all, as you said, this is outdated. This hairstyle is outdated. And why are they doing this? The person that sent it to me said, as a social media manager, this is clever. But as an official White House, something that is government sponsored, this is an abomination. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. They're making a joke of everything. This dude, President Trump, is hawking perfume and colognes now. The 45th and 47th colognes. I mean, at a certain point, a person that I know said, politics has now become a used car salesman dealership. And they're selling lemons all over the place.
Yeah, he actually was selling cars on the White House lawn.
Yeah, that's right. When him and Elon was still cool.
Yes.
You know, they go back and forth. Like, speaking of Jersey Shore, they go back and forth like Sammy and, what was his name? Well, Sammy and the boyfriend. You know, I was a huge Jersey Shore fan.
Oh, I never watched a single episode, but I know of the people vaguely. Just because they were everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody was called the Situation.
Mike the Situation, yeah. He actually did a little time for tax evasion. Anyway, speaking of scams, let's get back to this commercial, the big beautiful bill. I sent it to you. Yeah. What did you think when you were watching this?
I thought that America don't deserve a birthday this year. It was the worst thing I think has ever been posted on the official White House Instagram. You're making a joke out of disenfranchising millions of Americans. Everything in there was a out and out lie. It said it wasn't going to tax tips or tax your overtime and things like that. It's lies. They're absolutely going to do that. But not only that, they do so much more. I want to kind of go over like just some highlights. Okay? Just some highlights of what they're going to be doing. They are going to be adding about $2.4 to $2.8 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. Okay? They're cutting Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP. They are defunding Planned Parenthood, even for things that are not related to abortion, just like, general checkups, health checkups, and things like that. A 4% cuts to Medicare starts in 2026. They are rolling back green energy and EV initiatives. They are the things they're doing to the education system, tightening Pell Grant rules. They are capping the amount that you can receive for graduate school or medical school or law school. So they're essentially making it so that only really rich people can go to med school, can go to law school, can go to graduate school, right? Because they are ending income-based student loan repayment plans. You either have that regular repayment plan or they'll stretch it out over 30 years instead of 20. That's it. Those are the only two options that you get. Okay? They're taxing university endowments. That's just some quick highlights, y'all. Some quick highlights. They're boosting fossil fuel subsidies. This is some quick highlights of the things that they're going to be doing now that this bill is passed. And it is going to have cataclysmic consequences to a large swath of this population. Basically, anyone who is not in like the top 5% of wealthy people here in this country. So to hell with the working class, to hell with those in poverty, to hell with the middle class, to hell with even those who are like upper middle class. If you think going to college is actually going to help your life, not when you repaying these loans for the rest of your life at a rate you can't afford. You can't even get them reduced based on the amount of your income. Your Medicaid, your Medicare, the benefits that you use to feed your children. And they're using a parody commercial to lie to you and make it a joke. That's not a joke. That's not a joke to the millions of Americans who are going to be affected, including the ones who did this, who voted for this, who voted against their best interests, who voted against their interests, period, because they hate women and Black people that much. Because they hate brown immigration that much. That was disgusting. And it's on the official White House Instagram. I don't have any words. I was disgusted when I saw it. Disgusted. I say I don't have any words, but then I just went on like a 5-minute diatribe, so I'm sorry. But like, I was absolutely disgusted.
So, yeah, I'm past disgust. I'm all disgusted out.
Yeah.
I laughed and not at because I thought it was funny or amusing. In a way, I guess it was funny and amusing because everything that's horrible about Trump and this administration, I will give him credit on one thing. He is funny, but funny at the wrong times, funny at the wrong people. It's just not directed properly. And he's a horrible human being who doesn't care about anybody but truly himself. And this bill, it bothered me that so many Republicans had so many issues against this bill, still fell in line. Yeah. And I always find it funny because they always call the Republican Party the party of strength. That's what they like to say. But yet there's no body with a backbone in the Republican Party. The Democratic Party, the younger versions of the Democratic Party fight with leadership. They fight with leadership. They don't just fall in line. The Republican Party just falls in line. Okay, have at it. What they are creating with this bill is eventually going to lead to Mad Max unless the midterms flip the House and the Senate, and then the next election cycle, there's a Democratic president, because all this stuff can be reversed, right? Just like they reversed Biden's policies, you can reverse Trump's policies. It's just the next 3 years are going to be absolute hell. Okay, let those people that voted for this feel it. But you know what? They're not going to care. Because I always go back to the story of swimming pools in the South. I've told this story before, but for some of our new listeners and new watchers, they may have not heard the story. When the segregation was ending, and they were integrating everything in the late 60s throughout the 70s, one of the things that they started to integrate were swimming pools in the South, right? Because they were segregated. They had black swimming pools and white swimming pools. But now segregation is ending. They're integrating everything. What white people did in order to not have to share pools with black people was fill the pools up with cement. What does that mean? That means that they harmed themselves to take away from somebody else. They didn't even care enough about themselves to say, well, I still want to enjoy this pleasure. No, they literally took away from themselves to hurt somebody else. So when people say everybody's going to feel the effects and regret the decisions that they made when they voted for this administration, I say history tells me no, they won't, because they would rather take from themselves just so that somebody else wouldn't have something. And that's a different mindset that you can't really combat. They are going to consistently make sure that even if they don't have to have, you won't have. So the only way to reverse this is for people who didn't come to the polls because they didn't want to vote for a black woman, but didn't want to vote for Trump, to come back out to the polls and vote against Trump. But in the meantime, we're going to get commercials like this from the official White House that makes us look like imbeciles to the rest of the world when we were supposed to be the beacon of hope, democracy, a melting pot, acceptance. We are no longer that. Everybody else is laughing at us. So you could say America first, it's going to be America only, because ain't nobody else going to mess with you. And that's a real lonely feeling, because the world is pretty big and it really sucks to be cut off from everybody else except for, the terrorists, China, Russia, the dictators.
Yeah, because there's another step after America only. So it's America first, America only, and then America fallen, because we need our allies. We need our ally. Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because, oh God, I want to say Xi Jinping, but don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure who's leading China right now. But he made a post basically saying that the world will move on after America and that all great civilizations fall. And I can't say the way that we're going, the trajectory that we're heading, what is going to be left here? I don't know.
I tell people all the time, me being a historian, this country isn't very old. Like people say,
no, it's not. It's not 1776. That's it.
249 years we're celebrating today. Well, I ain't celebrating, but 249 years, that's how old this country is. 249 years. And actually, really, it's going to piss a lot of people off when I say this, really didn't even start to try to live up to the standards until 1972. And why do I say 1972? Because that's when the ERA was attempting to be passed, the Equal Rights Amendment. But no, we're only 249 years old. If you go throughout history, there have been great empires that have fallen. You talk about China, you talk about the Ming Dynasty, you talk about the Roman Empire, you talk about the Persian Empire. These were empires that were great that fell. We're not where we were. So, yeah, you're right. America first, America only, then America nothing. And then you pick up the pieces and try to start something new. But in the meantime, we got to deal with these White House posts. And all I can do is smirk and say, well, this is what you wanted.
This is what you wanted.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.